Today, I want to show you guys a dish that I already done in the restaurant. So I really enjoy making this dish, that's why I want to show it. Pakbet Tart utilizes a lot of vegetables, so we're trying to use the different textures of these vegetables to our advantage. We want guests to have an experience of different textures in their mouth once they have the 1-2 bite of this dish. For this dish, there's going to be a lot of mise en place. There's not much cooking, but there's a lot of arrangement involved. For the beans, we're going to remove the top part and clean out the string that they have. So instead of using long beans, we're trying to use 2 different beans to have 2 different textures. So we're trying to use French beans and Baguio beans as well. Then we're gonna have some brunoise squash in there, and it'll have all of the vegetables of pinakbet, but without the bagoong or the meat. So the inspiration of the dish is basically having pinakbet all in one bite. So I want to make a shell wherein it'll hold all of the ingredients of the dish, but when you take it in, you're gonna feel like it's a new experience for that dish. So we're gonna cut the beans first. So we're gonna cut them finely. So most of the vegetables that we're gonna be using for this dish is gonna be cut really small. So we're gonna go with the Baguio beans this time. So once again, we're gonna cut it thinly. But as you can see, they're gonna have a different texture with the French beans, which is gonna be nice. So this is the squash. It's another filling for the tart. So we're trying to make it as uniform as the beans as well, so it'll have a uniform feeling in the mouth. I just cut it in a brunoise, just so it's the same size as the beans. And now we're gonna start with the filling of the tart. So we're gonna roast these vegetables. So I'm just gonna add a bit of oil. So you just want to coat the bottom of the pan. So as you can see, it's very, very hot. So we're going to start off with the Baguio beans. So just a touch of salt. So I'm using this process instead of blanching them, just so that we can retain as much flavor of the vegetable as possible. So we're going to transfer it in a gastronome. So we're going to do that process with the other vegetables as well. So we're gonna go with the French beans now. So now there's the French beans that we're roasting. So we're just roasting a little bit with some salt. So now that's good. So now lastly, we're gonna do the squash. So with the squash, you want to roast this more than the beans, because if you don't cook it much, it will have like a waxy texture. So a drop of water will help too. That's good. So we're gonna start with our plating. So this is the base of the tart. So basically it's made out of lumpia shell. So it's nice and thin. So the goal is basically trying to make it as thin as possible. So we're gonna fill it with the roasted vegetables that we made. So it's the squash and the beans that we made a while ago. So we're gonna mix it in. So at this point, it has to be seasoned already. So now that it's filled 3/4 of the way, we're gonna add the ampalaya. This ampalaya has been salted for an hour. Then it's soaked in honey water. It's just to remove some of the bitterness, but still keep the integrity of the vegetable. So we're just gonna add 1 slice on each. So now we're gonna continue. We're gonna add the puree of the eggplant. So basically it's eggplant that we burn until it's super black. Then we puree it, season it with some vinegar, some salt, and just a tiny bit of butter. So we're just gonna add a small spoonful in the middle. So this is gonna be like the sauce part of the dish. So as you can see, it's all vegetable, but it all has different characteristics. So hopefully it's gonna be an interesting dish. So now I'm I'm just piping in the squash puree made out of squash with some salt, some flour, and a bit of butter. So this will add a nice creaminess to the dish. So now we're gonna place the tart on the plate. And the last touch is gonna be the flour. So it's a flour of kamyas. It's gonna add a bit of acidity to the dish. So it'll counter the richness of the eggplant and the squash as well. So this is it. So this is our Pakbet Tart that consists of different vegetables of Pinakbet that's cooked all in a different way. So if you enjoyed our videos, like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell button.